Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the week that was. Austin the Stash, joined by Melanie Wilkinson.
Good morning.
Good morning. JustMelanieW.com for all of your fantastic local York County news and information. Melanie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to see that you're upright once again.
Well, I mean, you and me both, apparently, for both of us, because we missed last week.
We did miss last week. We were that
both
was to spare
ill.
the listening public of the things that we were displaying. It wouldn't have been anything to listen to.
No, it really would have been awful. At this point last week, I hadn't spoken for 30 hours or something like that.
My gosh.
'Cause, like, I legitimately, and now listen, I live to be on radio.
I was gonna say you're that's what you do. You're a talker.
I'm a talker. I'm an extrovert. I talk to people from Tuesday morning until Thursday afternoon. I did not say maybe 15 words. Like, at most, I said 15 words.
That's incredible.
My wife has never
I was gonna say,
heard me silent.
Like, are you okay?
Yeah, she was like, she clearly was like, this is weird. At one point, she was like, so I have to fill the silence now? Like, it's so quiet in here.
Well,
what am I
was it
supposed
that you absolutely couldn't make a sound?
Couldn't make a sound. It wasn't even like, ooh, he's a preteen boy.
Or you're saving your voice.
Yeah, no, it was,
like
I could not make a sound.
That's remarkable.
It was awful. It was the worst week of my life.
Okay, well, at least that's like you look pretty good.
Well,
so.
thanks.
Okay.
Thanks. I've bounced back. The voice still isn't 100%. It's like 95%. There'll be moments here where you'll hear me like kind of go up into an upper register and my voice cracks. So
well, maybe that was a good thing because that happened, so you didn't have to hear another whole week of politics and stuff because I know
we're 1 week away.
We were going to talk about election things last week. So
I am glad that we have saved it.
I spared you a week.
Thank you.
Today we're going to just talk just a little bit.
Perfect.
About local election things.
Well, let's dive into that
no
right
politics,
away.
just election.
This is not a place for you to find your opinion. This is where you will find the facts. These are what are being talked about. What is on the ballot?
This is pertaining to York County.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting thing. So yesterday morning at 8:05 is when I talked to our county clerk, Mary Melby. Mm-hmm. And at that point, the register of the people that had come to the courthouse and have already voted, this isn't a big amount. It was 1,760. Mm-hmm. And she said they're averaging about 100 to 200 people a day.
Oh, wow.
Courthouse has been a madhouse.
Yeah.
I have never in all these years seen this many people take advantage of early voting. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, voting is high on a presidential general anyhow.
Absolutely.
But when you consider that number, that means that as of right this minute, 18% of all the registered voters in York County have already cast their ballots.
Wow. That's crazy.
So that indicates there's going to be really high turnout on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because if they're already doing it, that shows that Tuesday is going to be very active. So on Tuesday, there's going to be a lot of things for local consideration beyond the obvious, our Senate races, congressional races, presidential, all the measures and initiatives. There's a lot of things to consider. Now, we do have some issues that are going uncontested. So we already know that county commissioner-wise, Leroy Ott and Joe Burgess they're already in. They won their primaries. And there was no other party.
So they're running
no other
unopposed.
Party candidates. So they'll be on the ballot, as will Henderson and York mayors. Those were already decided in the primary. Now, the race for 4 seats on the York City Council, at one point there were 5 candidates. Mm-hmm. So you can consider that contested. Since then, 1 is withdrawn. So there will only be 4 names on the ballot.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much, been
interesting
determined.
It does still technically have to be on the ballot, but it's weird
It
that
does.
it is.
Yeah,
you know?
even the single name, pick one, and there's only one.
Right.
Now, there are some contested in the county where there's the village of Bradshaw. I find this really interesting. There's 3 seats up on their village board, and there's 6 people running.
Oh.
In Village of Gresham, 3 seats, and there's 5 people running. In Little Town of Lushton, on their village board, there's 3 seats, and there's 5 people running.
Wow.
McCool School Board, 3 seats, 5 people running, and Waco, 3 seats, 4 people running. So there are contested races for different seats. Of course, we have judge retention to consider, Judge Stecker and Judge Homolka. Do you know about judge retention?
No, don't know anything.
Okay, so they're appointed by the governor, judges are.
Okay.
Once they're appointed, they're judges for life. However, in 6-year rotations, the public has the ability to say whether or not they believe a judge should be retained, meaning whether they should continue. And it's a process that they have to go through. But if a high majority of voters say no, then that judgeship is reviewed. I think there's only been probably 3 judges in the history of Nebraska that haven't been retained through this election process. But that'll be something that people need to see, that they will see on their ballots. Of course, locally, we have the big $39.5 million bond issue for York Elementary School. So there are a lot of things to vote on. Of course, the general election's nonpartisans. That means you can vote for everything.
Sure.
It's not like you're limited in the primary.
That's right.
It's too late to register to vote now for the general. But from the latest statistics I saw with the Secretary of State's office was that there were quite a few new registrations this year in York, and this last couple months in York County. So people are interested. Yep.
Yeah.
So
it's a big election, I mean, to put it lightly, it's a big election for a number of reasons.
it is. And if you have a ballot at your house that you've picked up or someone's brought to you, you just have to remember it has to be in by 8 o'clock on Tuesday.
It has to be in by 8 o'clock on
for
Tuesday.
it to be counted. You can mail it in. You can take it to the clerk's office yourself, or you can drop it off in that drop box on the west side of the courthouse.
I did see that the U.S. Postal Service put out an announcement saying that if you are mailing your ballot in, today is likely the last day for you to get it in and get it in on time.
You need to make sure that it's done early enough because, as we all know, the postal systems...
It can be wonderful. It also
can be
a
delayed.
mess. Yeah.
So just make sure. And for those who are concerned, too, about that Dropbox situation after what we heard about in Oregon...
Yes.
About people burning things
Right.
in there. This has been a state-approved box. It's safe. Your ballot's safe in there.
Your ballot is safe.
But if you feel like you don't trust it, just walk it into the courthouse and you'll be fine. Just
Easy
make sure
peasy.
it's there by 8. If it's not there by 8, it won't be counted.
There you go. Good information to know. And of course, be informed and find out.
The other thing, too, is that I will be covering the results that night because I know there's going to be a lot of people wanting to see how things turn out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be just doing the York County results. Obviously, you can get, your state and federal information elsewhere because I'm just hyper local. So that's what we're doing. But it will probably be just best guess based on past presidential elections. It'll probably be about 2 a.m. before it's all really...
We should reschedule our news thing.
Oh, yeah. Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning is tough.
I might look like a zombie. I'm usually up most of the night on election night.
Goodness gracious.
It's something, but I get all hyped up about
Yeah.
it. So I'm all wired. And then all
it's
of it,
journalist Super Bowl.
It is. And so don't be impatient. Just it takes some time for them to count all those ballots.
For sure.
But as soon as results are final, I'll start pushing those out on my website. And so you can just come back and keep checking. I'll also push out to social when something's been decided.
Perfect.
So
be sure to follow.
But it will be
just Melanie W.
Yes, for sure it'll be after midnight. It usually takes about 4 to 5 hours, considering also too that they have to drive all those ballot boxes in from all the polling places in the county.
Sure.
Check them in, and then they start
do
running
all their due
them through the
diligence.
machine, and they have to hand count. That's the other thing. If there's a lot of people writing in Mickey Mouse and Satan,
Yeah.
those will get kicked out, and they'll have to hand count all those ballots.
Interesting.
So you might think you're funny voting for Mickey Mouse and Satan, but
it's still pretty funny. I'm
just,
gonna be honest.
I knew it.
What?
I knew you'd love that.
Me? No, that's insane.
I swear to you, every year Satan gets probably 50, 60 votes for all
Goodness
different kinds of
gracious.
things. And there and sometimes people just write Mickey Mouse over the entire ballot.
Just Mickey Mouse. Mickey
I don't
Mouse.
even know why you'd even bother
What's
going to the
point?
poll. I don't know.
They wanted the sticker. They wanted the sticker to say I voted.
No,
You know, you can get those I voted stickers online. You don't have to, spend all that time.
I think it happens. So,
Hey, yeah,
but
absolutely.
As soon as it starts, where we can see how things are ending up, it'll be out there for public consumption. So.
And I will say this right now. On my show, I very specifically don't talk about politics.
Correct.
And so, on the Wednesday after Election Day, I will definitely just say go to justmelaniew.com to find out information on the local elections.
Okay.
Because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it.
You don't have to.
I don't want to
You
get
don't
an
have
opinion
to.
on it.
I'll
I'm
break
just gonna,
it all down. I'll
Perfect.
break it all down, and it's just going to say who won what, how many people voted for it, some background information on the people or the issues, and people can do with it what they want.
Yep, absolutely. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, don't shoot the messenger. All right. Anyway, I've got a quick funny story about one last thing about election coverage.
Okay.
When I was in Florida, that was when I was in Florida when the last general election happened, and I was a lowly, not lowly, I guess. I was a producer on a show,
Right.
but I was looking to pick up more hours, and so I was a phone screener for the conservative talk station in Orlando. And let me tell you something. Most people who listen to talk radio, conservative or liberal, whatever, are normal people, are totally fine. The people who call into conservative talk and liberal talk radio are a little bit unhinged because I had to screen calls and I'd be like, hello, I can't remember what station it was, but hello, this is Austin. What would you like to talk about? Yeah, I want to talk about why we're voting in a literal lizard into office, and so I'd have to type into the screen. Would like to talk about literal lizards. Okay. What would you? Hello, this is Austin. What would you like to talk about?
Oh my gosh.
Well, let me tell you something. This thing is this, and it's this, and it's this. All right, thank you for your opinion.
Thank you.
I will put you on hold. Wants to talk about this, and this, and it's just, like everyone was loud and obnoxious, and I was convinced that no normal person votes.
Was actually.
I'm convinced that no right-minded person votes, and then like saw the coverage where it was like, so X number of people voted. I'm like, okay, they can't all be like this,
No,
right?
They can't. They're not.
Election coverage ruined my view on people because I was like,
Well,
it was bad news.
there's people that, some people are a
that's
little
the thing.
overly passionate.
That's the thing. I don't want anyone to like think that I'm like I'm dunking on any one side or the other.
No.
It is purely that there are on both sides there are some people who sound crazy.
That's just
That's just the
That's
way that
just
it is.
life.
And it just so happens that those are the people that want to call in
and talk to
and
you.
talk to me. And I'm like, I don't really want to talk to these people. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate
your energy and your strong beliefs in something.
However, please find someone else to talk to about this.
Aren't you glad you don't have to do that now?
Thank goodness I am not going to have to do that this
no.
year. Oh, goodness.
Oh my.
So, anyway, all right. Enough election
good.
talk.
We're good.
Fantastic.
It's coming. We have less than a week left.
Less than a week left. Go vote. Get those mail-in stuff done as soon as possible. Take care of it. All that jazz. Okay. Greenwood Cemetery.
Okay. I wanted to bring this up because it's that time of year that the Greenwood Cemetery Board goes out to the public and reminds everybody that they do need donations to help to continue to beautify the cemetery. Have you ever been there?
I have not.
Okay. It's a cemetery, obviously, but it is so beautiful and it is so historic. And it's just a very, very special place. And it takes a lot of upkeep. Now, the Greenwood Cemetery does not have its own tax levy. It does not operate off of tax dollars. It is solely through plot sales and donations.
Gotcha.
And it's a big place. It's a huge acreage and they have a lot of things that they need to do. It's been really dry the last few years. And so they've had to do more irrigation than normal. There's that whole emerald ash borer problem.
Yeah.
With the trees that they have to be replacing, taking out, the old ones and then replanting in with new species. They have just a lot of projects that are ongoing and they need funds. And so they're all tax deductible. And you can send, if you're inclined. I think too that the reason they do this push once a year is that we have a lot of charities and a lot of places to give money.
Totally.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's endless, But this one is one that I think people just don't think about. It's not as constantly visible as a lot of charitable organizations are, because we all just take it for granted that, well, it's been there for 150 years. But there are things that need to be done. So if anybody wants to make a donation, I'm not on the board. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just thinking that I think it's worthy to talk about. You can just send a check earmarked for beautification of Greenwood Cemetery to 1000 West 8th Street. It'll go straight to the secretary and the board, and it would just be much appreciated. So and the things that they do too with, beyond Memorial Day and all that, it is quite a remarkable place. So I just thought I'd mention that this week while we were talking about it.
Absolutely. Quick, weird hot take about cemeteries.
Oh,
Some
boy.
of my favorite places to go on walks is cemeteries. And that's weird.
No, it's not. I totally agree.
There's just something about, a lot of people view cemeteries as a sad place or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, the cemeteries are a place that are full of hope and full of, because it's almost every single headstone has a nice message and has, it's hope. It does.
And I love looking at the really, really old ones.
Yeah.
And you can see this family legacy that's laid out there.
Yes.
And I wonder about these people. And you see dates and you think, oh, that woman had a rough life. But,
right.
But boy, she's kept having kids anyway.
Yeah.
in 1880, man, this woman's life was hard.
Yeah.
But yep, look at her. She's still, I don't know. Maybe we're strange.
I think we're the strange ones. I'm going to be honest. I've told other people this, and they're like, that's insane. You are a weird. So many people have been like, Austin, that's a weird thing.
Okay.
Don't walk around. Don't walk around
I'm not
cemeteries.
Out there all the time.
Yeah, it's just every once in a while.
But when I am, I'm fascinated.
Exactly.
So anyhow, I just think that's a neat thing to do if anyone's so inclined. So
absolutely. There was something very cool that happened at the local elementary schools.
Oh yeah, this is really neat. It's called Vision of Hope program, and Katie Berger, she's the elementary school principal, explained how the goal of this program is to target students without access to vision care and provide them with glasses. She said that the school nurse, Atlee Henderson, put this together. It also included Fillmore Central and Centennial. And so teachers, the way I understood it was teachers brought forward names of students that they think by observing them that they probably need glasses. But these are kids that are from... that are in situations that maybe the folks have a hard time providing this
Glasses
kind of
are
care.
expensive.
And,
eye
and
exams can be very expensive.
Sure. And so local optometrists, Dr. Nancy Daub, Dr. Faith Schneider, and Dr. Amy Cautovy went to the different schools and did these for free, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And in all, 57 kids had eye exams, and 38 of them received free glasses. A lot of them right on the spot, unless their vision was so severe that they had to have special order glasses.
Sure.
But from what I had seen from Katie, she said it was like emotional watching little kids get these brand new glasses, and they were so proud of them, and they were so overjoyed that they could see.
Yeah.
When you're used to not being able to see, you don't know you can't.
Yeah.
So to watch them, the big reveal of this is what the world actually looks like.
Yeah.
I guess it was just incredible. So I thought that was something really special. And I think it's really neat that the local doctors are willing to give up their time and their services to do this for free to help these kids. And like Katie said too, now just happy to know that they can see while we're trying to teach them. And I just thought it was really neat.
I love that. That's fantastic.
You always look for, sometimes the world seems really negative and ugly.
Yeah.
This is like one of those cool, nice things that make you feel like
we're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Yeah.
If you have you ever seen some of the videos of people that are colorblind and then they get the colorblind glasses? You want to talk about like if you want to go down a rabbit hole where you cry for like half an hour because so there are tons of videos out there of people who are colorblind and they get these glasses. And the glasses fix their color blindness.
It does?
Yes.
I didn't think that could even be done.
It can, and it does. And like their loved ones bring like different colored balloons, and like they put it on, and just the shock of like seeing color for the first time.
What in the world would that be like?
I can't even imagine.
A publisher, Greg Autry, that I worked with for years, he was colorblind.
Yeah.
And it was it was just so funny because you even think about like stoplights. Well, he knew which one was on, and he knew like, but it wasn't based on the color. And I was always trying to figure out how would that be.
Yeah.
And like, he would have his wife like put together. Sorry, Greg. He's not listening. He moved to Minnesota. So.
Gotcha.
But I'm going to tell the story about Josie. But Josie would pick out his like suits and his ties and stuff to make it match because
he couldn't
it didn't mean a thing to him.
Yeah, he had no idea.
Everything looked the same.
I love it. Incredible.
I don't know.
So my brother-in-law is colorblind and he loves golf, but trying to play golf with a white ball in a yellow, like he has to have certain color of balls that are different enough from the grass so that way he can actually find his ball. My God, I never even thought about that. Colorblindness is a crazy thing. Colorblindness
Boy, we're all over the place today.
The week that was has turned. We haven't talked for 2 weeks. So we're just really gabbing. A couple of gabbing gals, you know.
Oh my gosh.
All right, one last thing.
Okay.
The old library house has been set ablaze.
It was super cool. This house is sat on the southwest corner of the library property in York for decades. The city acquired it a while back, and so it needed to go. It got old, and so rather than just demolish it, it was used for a really valuable training exercise for York Fire, McCool, Bradshaw, and Waco.
Nice.
So there were about 36 firefighters there who got to go inside. Well, they would set certain areas ablaze, so they got that interior training. When they decided to let it go, then they brought out the big aerial truck, and firefighters got the opportunity to train going up that ladder and swinging and being over top of this burning inferno.
Goodness.
I've got these cool pictures where there's this blazing fire, and then there's the smoke, but then out of the smoke it looks like a UFO
Nice.
hanging over top of it with these guys in it.
Incredible.
And I know that they weren't right over top of it, but it looked so crazy.
Yeah.
And then they also got to experiment with using the city's new drone as far as going over top, taking video and photos so they can show people what it looks like from the top of something like this. It took several hours. Now the house is gone. The place, it's cleaned up. But it was just a really good collaborative effort of all these different fire departments to come together. We take so for granted that something happens, we call 911, and these people just magically show up.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. They do. They just come running to save us all.
Yeah.
Oh, the amount of training and the amount of education that they go through, and they give up all of their own time, not only to come on calls, but to do all of this training too. And it was just it was a great thing to see. The public actually got to see them in action.
Yeah.
There was a lot of area that was, that was portioned off that people couldn't go to, but it was at the library. So all these people were lined up along the library.
Sure.
And they were cheering and yelling. They were like, "Yay, firefighters!" and all this stuff. So anyway, it was neat. And it's very rare to all stand around and watch a house burn down on a Saturday morning, and it's not tragic. So,
You know what? You want to talk about a political platform? Here's mine. We need to have more burns.
More
we
house
need
controlled
more
burns?
controlled house fires. We need more controlled house fires.
It brings the community
together. Every Saturday morning, we burn down a house.
Let's do it.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, all right.
Sounds like an incredible time.
It was great. It's been a week.
It has been.
And here we
a
go,
week.
because this next week's going to be a burner.
Yeah, nice. Well played.
Thank you.
That was very good.
I didn't even hardly think about that. I didn't.
That's the best puns.
I'm already thinking about what it's going to be like next Wednesday morning when we haven't had any sleep, but it's okay.
You're going to be so hyped still.
I'll be high on my adrenaline.
That's right. Absolutely.
Staying up all night watching the counter. Can't wait.
And I will have rested peacefully, not looking at any of it.
I think I was trying to do the math. I think this is my 8th. No, it's not my 8th. It's probably my 7th.
Oh, yeah.
It's my 7th
election cycle.
Presidential general election.
Wow, man.
I'm old.
Oh, get out of here. Come on.
I got a bunch left in me.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. All right.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, we get ready for next week, because next week we'll talk about the results and we'll talk about all the stuff that
We'll
happened.
be here.
But in the meantime, if you would like up-to-date information, be sure to go to justmelaniew.com.
Yes.
And you can check out all the stories that we talked about here today in greater detail.
Excellent.
All right. Fantastic. Melanie, thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me.